Good afternoon, everyone. Very welcome. My name is Dr. Luke Kelleher. Thanks, Laura. And I'm the Deputy Head of School. I'm delighted to give you an overview of our graduate programs here in APEP. My colleague from the School of Planning, Dr. Ora Estrada, is also here and will contribute to some of the slides, and we'll both be there at the end to answer your questions and answers. Okay. So APEP is unique, not just in UCD, but internationally, because it brings together 4 disciplines that all shape how people live, work, and experience in their environment. Each discipline in the school has real heritage. Architecture was founded in 1911, over 100 years ago, making it one of Europe's oldest and most respected architecture schools. Landscape architecture in the school hosts Ireland's first accredited programme and remains the only route to becoming a professional landscape architect in the country. The School of Planning was the first planning school in Ireland, is over 50 years old, and it remains a national leader, an international leader in spatial planning and urban policy. And my own department, environmental policy, was established over 40 years ago, was the first programme of its kind in Ireland, and is now home to the leading masters in environmental policy, strategy and leadership. APEP is a large and vibrant school, one of the biggest of its kind in Europe. We've around 165 staff across teaching and research and practice. And that means that students are taught by experts deeply engaged with industry, government and major research projects. We've also got over 600 students, and there's an energetic and international community on the campus. This is where our school lives. It's the Richview and Newstead campus. It's a dedicated hub for APEP, and all 4 of our disciplines sit together here at architecture, landscape architecture, planning and environmental policy. And one of the strengths of our school, our strengths of the school is the physical proximity. So students share spaces, libraries, studios, labs, and outdoor environments, and it creates a genuinely interdisciplinary culture. We offer one of the widest program portfolios in Ireland, from undergraduate degrees right through to professional diplomas and specialised master project programs. In architecture, we offer the BSc in architectural science alongside programs which I'll talk about later. In landscape architecture, students can enter through the undergraduate and progress to the new masters in global change and landscape design. And in planning, as Ora will touch on, programs include long-established masters in regional and urban planning and masters in planning, development and urban design. In environmental policy, we offer our own flagship masters focusing on climate governance, sustainable transitions and environmental regulation. We also have a college in China where we teach transport, city planning and environmental policy to over 450 students in China. Professional accreditation is a major strength of APEP and one of the reasons our graduates are internationally made. Just to quickly go through some of the key points. Architecture programs are accredited by the Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland, Royal Institute of British Architects, and the National Architectural Accrediting Board internationally. Our planning programs are accredited by both the Irish Planning Institute and the Royal Town Planning Institute, supporting careers here in Ireland, the UK, and internationally. And our landscape architecture degrees are accredited by the Irish Landscape Institute. So one of the first things students notice when they join APEP is just how many pathways we offer. Architecture, planning, landscape, climate action, environmental, all under one school. We welcome over 100 master's students every year, and it creates a truly international community. So I'm just going to run through, these are a series of our master's programs. I'm going to start with the architecture-based programs, and then Ora, my colleague, will talk about the planning, and then I'll wrap up with the environmental policy master's program. So the first program I'll talk about is the Masters in Architecture, Urbanism and Climate Action. MOCA, as it's known on campus, exists because cities are both part of the climate problem and the climate solution. And we train students to lead that change. So this program brings together architecture, planning, landscape, and environmental policy. So it's a genuinely interdisciplinary model unique in Ireland. Students learn to design low carbon neighbourhoods, reshape urban spaces, and develop climate resilient strategies. Some of the core learning covers sustainable development goals, climate science, sustainable design, and a wide range of electives from across UCD's various schools. Students also work on industry-linked projects, and it gives them real exposure to professional practice. So what are the career and graduate opportunities? Well, one of the biggest strengths of MOCA is how employable graduates are. Climate and sustainability roles are growing faster than almost any other sector. Careers range from low carbon architecture to urban design, climate governance, policy development, and strategic planning. Many students continue into PhDs in UCD and internationally, particularly in the areas of climate policy, resilience planning, and sustainable design. Some graduates also join EU-funded Horizon Europe and climate innovation projects, giving them a strong research and professional profile. So if you want a career where you can directly shape climate solutions in real cities, MOCA opens that pathway. This slide shows some real recent examples of our staff shaping national policy in Ireland. What you're seeing here is an academic theory. It's work that is directly influencing legislation, funding decisions, and the future of Ireland's built environment. So some of the lecturers you might meet on campus may be presenting in the Oireachtas committee only weeks before teaching the programme. So this is something right across the school. So the research here feeds directly into national decarbonisation pathways, from how buildings are retrofitted to how new developments assess their carbon footprint. This is a major benefit for master's students in APEP. So you're learning from academics who are not just observing a climate transition, but they're actually designing it. I'll move on to the Masters of Architecture. This is a 2-year full-time internationally accredited program, meaning that when you graduate, you're globally mobile, whether you want to work in Dublin, London, New York, or Sydney. One of the things that makes it stand out is the balance between creativity and critical thinking. The program is designed to equip you with the skills needed to tackle real architectural and urban challenges, especially as cities around the world rapidly change. You'll be learning from academics and practitioners who are actively shaping architectural practice today, many of whom are deeply embedded in award-winning Irish and international design communities. One of the biggest strengths of studying architecture is our global at UCD is our global connectedness. Every year, our students travel on international field trips to cities such as Rome, Barcelona, and Venice. These aren't just sightseeing trips, they're immersive design experiences where students study architecture, culture, and urban form firsthand. So what do our Masters in Architecture graduates go on to do? Because the program is accredited across the EU, UK, and US, our students have incredible freedom in choosing where their careers take them. Graduates work across architectural practice, policy governance and advisory roles, consultancy and design strategy, and academia or further studies. Many of our students pursue high award-winning design careers or become specialists in high-profile architectural sectors. And this slide highlights some of the awards, some of the internationally recognized architects in the world who have come from our school. So, for example, you see on the slide here, Yvonne Farrell and Shelley McNamara, founders of the prize-winning Grafton Architects, who are alumni of our school. And it doesn't stop there. Many of our staff and graduates are contributing to some of the most important building design projects around the world. Okay, I'll go on to the third of our programs is the Masters in Global Change and Landscape Design. Landscape architecture today is at the center of the climate conversation. Every time you hear about wind farms, renewable energy sites, coastal resilience, there's a landscape architect shaping those decisions. This program responds directly to that global challenge. The Masters train students to design sustainable and resilient landscape futures, and you learn to see the landscape as a functioning ecosystem and as a piece of global infrastructure. Students develop skills in climate adaptive design, ecosystem services, renewable energy landscapes, and water, soil, vegetation systems. One of the standout features is the embedded work placement. So you're not learning this in theory, you're applying it in practice as part of the program. And importantly, this degree provides a direct pathway to becoming a landscape architect. UCD is the only English speaking university in the EU offering this access. Graduates of this master's program are moving into one of the fastest growing professional sectors globally. And as climate change reshapes landscapes, there's a huge demand for specialists who design low carbon, nature positive, climate resilient environments. Some of the career paths are listed here, and we can discuss these in the questions and answers. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague, Dr. Ora Estrada, who will give you a brief run through some of the planning master's programs.
Thank you, Luke, and hi, everyone. Today, I'm going to present some of the planning programs. We will start with the Masters of Regional and Urban Planning. If we can move to the next slide, which is offered in both a full-time and a part-time version. The MRUP is the longest standing planning program in Ireland. It has recently been restructured from a 2-year to a 1-year program in response to the growing demand for planners. This also involves significant time and cost savings. It is fully RTPI accredited, and a national local government graduate planner recruitment campaign has just been launched. Planning is now on the government's critical skills list, and as mentioned, there is a part-time version, and applications are open to students with a 2-1 degree. Next slide. The structure of the MREP is presented here with an autumn trimester, spring, and then summer trimester, both taught and studio modules. The summer trimester offers the opportunity to choose between a thesis or a paid internship with industry leaders, which also apply to another planning programs. I'll speak more about that later. The studios include plan making studio, planning, design, and development, and theoretical modules include planning, governance, environment and sustainability, and others for you to choose from. Next slide. So some of the highlights on the MREP are that, as mentioned, we offer a range of teaching approaches from workshops to field trips, independent and practice-based learning. We involve practitioners, and there are fantastic job opportunities for planners nowadays in Ireland and beyond. Next slide. The next program is the Masters of Science in Urban Design and Planning. Next. And this program is really focused on the role of urban design in the context of urban planning. It includes a focus on urban design studio from a practice oriented focus, placemaking and conservation, resilience, and nature-based solutions in built environments. It appeals to graduates from closely related disciplinary backgrounds wishing to specialize in urban design. And the program has its own space, its own urban design studios located in Richview. Next slide. This is the structure of the program, again with 30 credits in autumn, spring, and summer trimesters, respectively. The program is designed around 30 credits of studio, so it's intensive studio work in urban design and planning, design, and development, combined with other theoretical modules, for example, on urban resilience, urban design, street design, and other planning methods, skills, and techniques. It offers the opportunity to choose between standard thesis, a design thesis, and an internship plus report for the summer. Next slide. And here we can see a sketched career pathway for MSc Urban Design and Planning graduates at either the national or international levels. So in the public sector, you could get hired in local planning authorities, policy advisory roles, for example, in the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage. In the private sector, you can get hired with an urban design specialism in planning consultancy, private developers, or journalism and media. And in NGOs, you can also look into local and national civil society organization. Overall, beyond this, you can choose to stay in research and teaching and become a policy officer as well. Thank you. That's for that. And our final program in planning is the Professional Diploma in the Foundations of Sustainable Development. This is a part-time level 9 professional diploma designed for graduates and professionals seeking a strong foundation in sustainability. It's ideal for learners from a wide range of backgrounds, including policy, public policy, planning, environment, business, engineering, and social sciences. It provides a structured introduction to the core principles of sustainable development, including climate, environmental governance, and socioeconomic sustainability. It's delivered in APEP and it has a flexible format. Next slide. So in terms of the knowledge and understanding, you will understand the core concepts underpinning sustainable development, explore the role of sustainability across economy, society, environment governance, and gain a robust understanding of UN SDGs and their relevance for policy. Careers, graduating from this program would make you eligible to go on to roles in public sector and government, corporate business, private sector, nonprofit, international development, consultancy, and research, and other further studies. Thank you.
Thanks, Aura. And now I'll just finish with the Master's in Environmental Policy. So environmental policy, for those who don't know, at its core is about how governments and organizations commit to protecting the environment through laws, regulations, and other policies. It covers everything from climate and air and water pollution to waste management, biodiversity, ecosystem, and sustainable use. Our program has a 40-year-old history of strength in these areas, and that foundation remains absolutely central. But the program has recently undergone a major review to ensure it keeps pace with the rapidly changing sustainability landscape. And the Masters has now evolved into a forward-looking program that combines environmental policy with strategic thinking, leadership development, and corporate sustainability. It was, as I said, mentioned, it was established over 40 years ago. The Masters was designed to equip students to meet the environmental challenges of our times. The core of the program still addresses major global challenges, climate change, adaptation, energy, urban quality. But the revised structure now builds leadership capacity, how to design strategy, communicate evidence effectively, and manage sustainability transitions. We've added modules with corporate sustainability content, strategic decision-making, and applied policy tools. So our graduates now leave with the ability to understand environmental issues, but also to lead responses across governments, NGOs, and the private sectors. We also have a part-time option designed for professionals balancing work and study, and that's delivered over 2 years. The full-time program is delivered over 1 year. This shows the structure of the structure of the program. Trimester 1 provides the core foundations, environmental economics, EU policy, and my own module in evidence-based decision-making. Trimester 2 is where the new direction of the program really becomes visible. You'll see modules on sustainability lab work, corporate sustainability strategy, applied environmental policy and regulation. And in trimester 3, we give students flexibility depending on whether they want an academic route or a professional one. You have the opportunity to undertake a thesis or complete an external internship or research project. The redesign of the program was very intentional. It was designed, shaped directly by what employers now expect from sustainability professionals. Organizations are looking for graduates who understand environmental policy and can lead strategy, manage stakeholders, and drive change. So the program builds around 3 complementary pillars. First, of knowledge. Students gain a solid foundation in environmental processes, policy, and legal frameworks. Then we move on to skills. We place a big emphasis on communication, leadership, project management, and quantitative and qualitative methods. And finally, the tools. Students also learn practical tools such as GIS, SPSS, policy analysis, environmental assessment, public participation, and risk management. Just briefly then, we can talk about this in the Q&A, but one of the major strengths of this program is how deeply connected we are to industry, government, and NGOs through 40 years of graduates. Our students secure internships across consultancies, government agencies, sustainability teams, and private sector innovation roles. These are students can also go into a huge variety of careers in consultancy, sustainability, strategy, climate policy, ESG reporting, corporate responsibility. There's never been a better time to be in this sector. Employers range from major consulting firms like EY, KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers to environmental NGOs, county councils, and specialist organizations. We're also seeing a strong demand in the just transition areas, renewable energy, circular and bioeconomy, and nature restoration. And finally, the program is built on over 40 years of leadership and environmental policy education, but redesigned for modern sustainability careers. It's ranked, UCD is ranked in the top 1% global and in top 50 worldwide for sustainability. And our faculty have strong connections to government, industry, such as the EPA, NGOs, and international organizations, and our students benefits directly from that network. And finally, while many programs focus mainly on environmental problems, the emphasis here is on solutions and implementations, how change actually happens in organizations, policy systems, and communities. So thanks everybody for listening, and happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you very much, Luke and Aura. Really comprehensive overview of some really interesting courses that you have available within the school. And so we're going to move on now we've got two students to give their kind of student experience so far. And the first up is Daniel, who is currently doing our Architecture, Urbanism and Climate Action program.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Laura. So my name is Daniel, and I'm currently pursuing the Master in Science in Architecture, Urbanism, and Climate Action here at the UCD School of Architecture. Luke has already more or less explained what the Master consists of, so I guess I can just move on a bit to say what this Master's is for, as well as what my experience with the program and my experience at UCD as an international student has been. So this is a relatively new program. So I'm not mistaken, it was established probably around 5 years ago, which means that it's quite innovative. It's quite innovative, especially in the sense that it's very multidisciplinary. So whether you are an architect trying to broaden your horizons and expand your knowledge into other fields, or you come from another field and you want to know a bit more about architecture and specialize in this entire area of carbon in the built environment, this master's would definitely be for you. There are students from many different backgrounds in our course right now. For example, we have students who are trained architects, of course, but we also have engineers. We have students with a background in history and international relations. So you really do see a lot of everything in this program. It's mainly students are interested in taking climate action through planning and research on the built environment. The program is 1 full year, meaning that it's 3 trimesters. So it runs fall semester, spring semester, as well as summer semester. And one of the main standards of the program that you don't really see in other programs is the fact that you get to choose what is it that you want to do to finish up the program. So you don't really have to do a traditional thesis project. If you choose not to do so, you can also either do an internship or placement through a company, or you can work on a linked research project here at the university, which is quite interesting, and it also opens a lot of opportunities for you. So to talk more a bit about my own personal experience and why I chose both this program and UCD, I feel like the main aspect that was drawing me to the MOCA program, as we usually call it, we just shorten it to MOCA instead of Architecture, Urbanism, and Climate Action, is the fact that with this program, you really do get to shape your experience and what your focus or your specialization is going to be. So if you are more interested in architecture, want to specialize more in architecture, you can take on architecture studio course. If you're more interested in environmental policy, you also do get the option to choose more modules on environmental policy. So you can really just tweak the program to match your interests and your career opportunities a bit better. all of the courses are highly relevant in our current environment, both politically and just generally. The issues that you touch on the modules are very much of the present. So you see a lot of theory, of course, but you also see a lot of present and future architectural practices, as well as lots of connections to current events and the current international fight against the climate emergency. So it really does make you feel like what you're studying and what you're doing is very much relevant and very much necessary. Now, I am an international student, so of course there is also an aspect of me deciding to choose to study at UCD specifically and in Ireland. And one of the reasons why I decided to study this program here at UCD as opposed to in my home country of Spain is the fact that you do get much more opportunities here at UCD than you do pretty much at any other university in Spain. The fact that you get access to so many research projects, for example, that are funded by Pro Bono and Horizon Europe and so many other European funding schemes, does give you like a really big opportunity to go into research if you want to, but also the School of Architecture has a lot of direct contacts with several companies and architectural studios here in Ireland that makes it so that if you choose to also do a placement in a company, the connection is way more direct and it's way easier to get this. Of course, there's also the fact that UCD is an extremely international campus in an English-speaking EU city, currently the only English-speaking EU country, Ireland. So, for example, in this program, it's a highly multicultural and highly diverse program, which just means that it makes it more relevant to some extent, just because the solutions to the climate emergency are not going to be the same in every single country. So you get a lot of different perspectives, culturally, politically, that help broaden your horizons and also rethink the way you see several things when it comes to environmental policy and architecture and the climate emergency as a whole. The School of Architecture here at UCD also has a very strong research tradition. So UCD, if I'm not mistaken, is the Irish university that produces the most research output in the entire country, which essentially makes it the country's center of innovation, which it's linked once again to the fact that you get the opportunity to work on so many different projects and research with your professors and the rest of the faculty here at the school. So it opens a lot of doors for you. And beyond that, UCD is a campus where you have a lot to do around, not only when it comes to student life, but also extracurriculars. The School of Architecture is extremely active. So you also have a bunch of seminars going on all the time and guest lectures, which is always interesting. And also it always gives you something to do and like more opportunities to learn even more beyond your program. One big standout for me when it comes to this program is just how hands-on it is. So as I mentioned before, we work a lot with EU-funded projects here at this program. And one of the programs that we're working on right now is a program that is based on a neighborhood in Dublin called Dundrum, where essentially this program, which is funded by Horizon Europe, is looking at ways to implement geodesign and community participation to find sustainable solutions for active mobility and for green and blue infrastructure in this one specific neighborhood. So you see a lot of the theory behind everything in class, but then you also get to go on the field to this neighborhood to talk to neighbors. And it's very fulfilling to see just how the theory turns immediately into practice and how you can actually see a future doing what you are already seeing in the classroom. There are many career opportunities for this program. So, for example, there are plenty of research opportunities not only here at UCD but also abroad. It's very common to have a PhD pathway once you finish this program, or say as a research assistant within campus or at one of the labs, such as the spatial dynamics lab. Some other people also go into areas in policy, both in Ireland and at the EU level, which for me, as someone who comes from a social sciences background in international relations, it's very, very interesting that you do get to learn, you do get to apply all of this knowledge on a political level and on a government level. And also there are several other students that go on into practice at architectural studios and so on and so forth, which is, of course, also highly interesting. So it's a program that is it opens a lot of opportunities for you, and like employment wise, it opens a lot of opportunities. Not only this, but UCD itself as an institution has also been extremely helpful for me as an international student. Not only before my arrival here in Ireland, but also after it. The student desk has been wonderful during the application process, answering any questions that I have, directing me to the right contacts, sending emails. So UCD is an institution where like you really don't ever feel alone. There's always a lot of support academically and socially, and even at the School of Architecture, you have this entire idea of the student advisors, where you have fellow students who are essentially there to help you with anything you need. And the course coordinators are also extremely helpful. You can reach out to them for essentially anything. So it also makes the program and your experience at UCD feel extremely close, and like you are belonging to a family, essentially. And yeah, I feel like I'm circling around a bit, so I'm just like trying to wrap things up with two final things, which are my experience in Ireland and just like a few things about extracurriculars. So once again, like UCD has been extremely helpful with my arrival here in Ireland, but also Ireland itself for those prospective international students that are in the webinar. Just, do you know that Ireland is a very welcoming country from a cultural perspective? Dublin as well is a very multicultural city. You always have a lot to do. So like, even if you're an international student, you never really feel alone. You always find someone, and you always find your niche, which is something I really appreciate about Ireland. And just to close everything off and circling back to student life, there are societies for absolutely everything, every single interest that you can think of. UC has a society for that. So for example, as a Spanish student, I joined the Hispanic Society, but I also joined societies that match a bit with my hobbies and my personal life, so for the Film Society. And there are also even career societies that help you a bit academically and with your career. So for example, the Sustainability Society and the Architecture Society have also been really, really interesting. So I would say that so far my experience at UCD has been wonderful, both at the school and at this program.
That's so great. Thank you so much, Daniel. Really appreciate your insights into the course there, and great to hear about your experience. So next up we have is one of our current students, Julia, who is currently studying our environmental policy program.
Hi everyone. So I'm really happy to be participating in this webinar. I remember doing the same last year when I was choosing my master's, so it's really good that I'm here now. But yeah, I'm Julia. I'm currently studying the MSc in environmental policy, and yeah, I'm originally from Italy, but I've been in Dublin for 4 years now. And just a bit of the background about myself. I just graduated from the BSc in sustainability at UCD. So I've been in UCD for quite a while now. So I have a bit of experience with the university. So yeah, just I chose to study the MSc in environmental policy because I was obviously very interested in sustainability from my bachelor, but I wanted to get more of a sense of the policy side of of sustainability. So that's why I was looking at environmental policy masters. But I chose to stay at UCD because the MSc in environmental policy the university was just very attractive to me. It's, as Luke mentioned, it's a very established master's. So the support that comes with that is quite a lot. And yeah, coming from a really new bachelor, I was looking for a bit more of a like established structure, which the environmental policy masters um, gave me, which was good. But then another thing that really played a big role in deciding to stay at UCD was the support that I knew was there at a university level. So and the opportunities to engage with research and just various initiatives. Um, it was really attractive to me, and I didn't want to leave that. So, for example, I want to mention societies, as Daniel was talking about. I was involved with the sustainability societies from my bachelor, and I'm now on the committee. And the society really gives you a lot of opportunities to get out there, not only to, engage with other students and just have fun, but also it gives you a lot of opportunities to engage with, for example, um, organizations such as the EPA or the private sector. So, for example, we had just a few weeks ago a careers panel talk with speakers from EY and KPMG. So you have the opportunity to talk with the people involved in environmental policy, but then also I had the opportunity to work as a research assistant within the environmental policy department. Um, so there's also the opportunity to engage with research quite a lot, and I obviously didn't want to leave that. So that's why I stayed. And then I also knew that there were going to be more opportunities coming into the future. So, for example, I'm now the sustainability student ambassador for the university. So there's always an opportunity to get involved with what you're interested in. It's just a matter of getting out there. So that's why I stayed in UCD basically. But yeah, my experience so far within the masters has been just great. Um, I come from a bachelor that has a really big class, so from like over 100 people in every lecture, and now we are just about 15, 20 people, which is great because you can really get to know people, and it's more of a conversation rather than a like one-way lecture, which I find like incredibly useful. But then also the the class itself is quite diverse, as Daniel was mentioning as well. We have people coming from very different backgrounds professionally, but also culturally. There's, I think, people from every single continent in our class this year. But then also something that was really surprising for me because I was coming directly from a bachelor. So I've been a student my entire life, basically. But there's people coming from years in consultancy, for example, or working as architects or, people that have been working for years. And it's really useful because you get that extra experience. So you're not just learning from the professors in front of you, but also from your peers. Um, so again, that's why it's more of a conversation because the knowledge comes from the students as well, which is really good. And then yeah, just in general, the course itself is really, really, really based on the present. I don't know how to say that, but it's like um, the topics that we discuss and the challenges that we're trying to solve are very relevant for what's happening in the world. So as Daniel was mentioning, it feels like you're actually doing something for the real world, which is great. And yeah, and for example, I wanted to talk about one of the modules that we're doing, which is the modules that Luke is teaching, where we're learning how to conduct evidence-based research and then communicating it, which is something that I'm really interested about. And so, for example, we actually learn how to, for example, use GIS or SPSS or NVivo, which are very useful in if you want to go into research, but then also it's knowledge that you're going to use if you're working in policy making. And then another really interesting module that I'm really excited about is the Sustainability Lab. So it's a module that's based on a challenge, and the challenge changes every year, which is really interesting because it's something that is relevant for that year. So, for example, last year it was on biodiversity, I believe, and this year we still don't know. But yeah, it's really interesting to be working on really relevant things. And yeah, I think that's it for me. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Julia. Again, really great insights into your experience with us so far. And they seem like you're having a good time and experience within the course, which is great. So myself and Katie have been answering some of the questions in the chat there. So hopefully we got through the majority. I think there's just one question left open from a Jennifer, just in relation to the MSc in Global Change Landscape Design. So I might follow up, Jennifer, with yourself after the webinar today, just to get you an answer to that final questions that you have, as there's no one here from that particular program with us today, unfortunately. But I will follow up with you after the webinar today. So that's the only final question we have open in our Q&A. So I think we'll wrap up the webinar there. And just to let you know that if you do have any follow-up questions after today or would like additional resources, please do reach out to us. My colleague Katie will pop our email address in the chat there, so grab that from her. And then just thank you to everyone who joined us. We really appreciate your time and engagement. Some really great questions there that we hopefully got those answers to you. And then just to let you know, we will follow with anyone after the event today that we need to. And then just lastly, a big thank you to our speakers for some really great insights into the program and about their experiences as a current student as well. So big thank you to you and to everyone joining us, and enjoy the rest of your evening.